darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, unprinted minis. I cannot live. I cannot die. On the podcast known as
Trapped Under Plastic. The podcast where we discuss the route to suit painting a cute boot. Okay. My fucking screen dimmed, and but I was in the rhythm, and I could not stop.
no.
And so I had absolute horror. Okay, all right. Alex, don't cut any of this. This is supposed to happen. Trapped Under Plastic, the podcast where we discuss the route to suit painting a cute boot and things that shoot, all while ensuring your poop chute is clean as a flute toot.
I think that was a throwback to the colonoscopy episode.
Oh yeah, your poop chute.
Dude, that dark time. I don't want to go back there ever again.
I want to go back. Oh shit! Speaking of which,
So yeah, you're coming up there, bud.
oh, but I'm 49. I got a doctor's appointment coming up. But he's gonna be like,
It's time.
he just like brings out. He
Time,
brings out,
Mr. Ninus. Let me see your asshole, son.
he brings out one of those little things that a submarine has. It's like boop, 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 comes out of the water.
Fucking periscope.
It's just a little periscope. He's like, well, we might as well just do it as long as we're here. I'm like, okay.
It's like that fucking monster in like the Star Wars movie and the trash thing. It's like it just pops out.
Yeah, in this analogy, the Star Wars trash compactor is my butt.
Yeah, it's my rectum. It's inside my body.
Hey, this couch is pretty nice. I think I'm going to take this couch. That is brought to us by Joshua Raptor. He brought to us the toot flute, the poop chute, the things that shoot, and
the zoot suit.
and the zoot suit, and the cute boot.
Yeah, and the intro was brought to us by Metallica's One. Shout out to And Justice for All. I think that is an album that doesn't get a lot of love.
Oh, it's probably my favorite Metallica album.
I think if it wasn't for like just there being literally no bass at all in the mix, rip Jason Newsted, it would be my favorite as well. Because like they have such heavy bangers on that album, like
Yes.
Dyer's Eve and Short as Straw and all that shit. It's amazing. It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I get into we're getting in to go to Adepticon, we're getting in the old truck, and just gonna throw in one CD and just listen all the way through while we're just getting all hyped and talking about stuff. Like that's probably my first go-to.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no misses.
No. Yeah, there really isn't. All right. On to the Preamble Ramble. I went to Wisconsin for a wedding.
Okay.
And I was in Milwaukee eating at a Asian restaurant, and someone was there celebrating their anniversary who recognized me from my channel. And they were super nice. We had a short conversation. I unfortunately cannot remember their name, which I'm sorry for. But we were sitting in the restaurant waiting to leave, and the waiter was not coming to us to like give us a check. And we're like, hey, can we have the check? And they're like, oh, your friends paid for you. And we're like, what? And it was those people we talked with. They paid for our dinner. They just dipped. They didn't say anything.
Like dined and dashed?
Yeah, dude, that was so nice.
I mean, usually it should be the other way around. They said that you paid for theirs, and then they left.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Sucker!
So yeah, that was super nice. If you're listening to the podcast episode, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Amber was so happy about that. She was talking about it for the rest of the day.
Oh,
she felt like things like that never happens, and so she was just really enjoying that. It was cool.
And so then as she's talking about that, in the evening, you're like, "See, honey, I do have value.
Yeah, it does pay.
Look at what I bring to this marriage.
Yes.
Free Rangoons."
The Rangoons, dude. I need them cream cheese filled deep fried goodness.
Oh man, that's probably, it's for sure in my top 10 favorite foods. Like it's
Really?
Yeah, dude, crab rangoons.
I think it's too one dimensional. I think it's so much fucking cream cheese.
Oh, but if the the pastry is just right and crispy, not overdone, not gooey in the center.
If there's like carrot and like green onion and like maybe like some bits of like some kind of protein, then I'm on board.
Yeah. You need the scallions in there.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh scallion chopped up.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then especially if they have their own like house made, not just that neon like Fallout 76 kind of bright red sauce, but like they make their own with a little bit of chili in there.
Yeah, a little chili crisp.
Oh, baby. Like, dude,
little XO sauce.
How is that not top 10? Like, I'm not saying like it's number 3, but I'm like, it's in there right on the edge of like maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe 12, maybe 13.
I need to think about what is in the top 10 before I can put crab rangoons in there.
All right, future episode and podcast, we talk about our top 10 favorite foods.
All right, yes.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
This is a food podcast now. All right, what's your deal?
What am I talking about?
Your ramble?
I don't even remember.
Your ramble is that you saw Cabinet of Curiosities.
Bro, have you watched?
I've been watching a different show.
Okay, so it's like you said you've been sick this week. I assume
I have, yes.
You got a little intake of media.
Yes, I have. I watched a fuckload of Dota, but I watched the Rings of Power show.
I finished that.
Did you? So I would love to talk about it for like maybe 5 minutes, but why don't you talk about the Cabinet of Curiosities first?
Okay, so I started Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, which is a show on Netflix, a multi-part series. However, it is much like Black Mirror or like obviously Twilight Zone before it, in that each 45-minute episode is its own individual story by different directors.
It's an anthology.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and it's so fucking good. It's so good. It's right up my alley, where it is creepy. It is not, I wouldn't consider it horror, but like thriller, suspense is like a general theme that's going through it, and this kind of like building of something ominous is going to happen.
Would Amber watch it, you think? She's like not a huge fan of scary faces and like horror at all.
I think so. Because the first episode is very reminiscent of, I guess the best way to draw parallels, almost like Green Mile. Ever seen Green Mile with Tom Hanks?
Oh, I don't think I actually have.
Oh, God, that movie is fucking phenomenal. Which is based on a Stephen King story.
I always confuse it with the Eminem movie.
8 Mile?
8 Mile, yeah. I've seen that. No, I think I've seen Green Mile. Now you're mentioning it.
Arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti,
Yes.
vomit on his sweater already.
Okay, now we're just jumping back and forth.
Okay. I just want to sing Eminem for the rest of the episode. Damn. Yes. Okay. Yes. Watch the first episode. You'll know. I'm not going to spoil anything about it. The second episode is about rats. That's all I'm going to say. It's about rats. Now, the good PPs of the nation, every time we get to the cold part of the year here in Minnesota,
It's snowing like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
bro.
fuck this snow, bro.
Dude, what the hell? It's November, dude.
It's been snowing all week.
Yeah, it's insane. Anyways.
So once we get to about October, it starts getting cold out here. And when that happens, the woodland creatures of the wild are trying to figure out their ways of survival for the winter. This is typically the time when, if I'm going to get mice in my house, it's going to be October, November, because they're trying to find a way to the warmth, to find some kind of a crack or a little hole or some way to get in your house. They will. So in October, in traps in my basement, I had caught a total of 5 mice. Anyway, there was one down in my working area, which my dog, he was like sniffing over or something. I'm like, what do you have over there? And he sticks his head up, and there's just a mouse in the middle of my floor. And if for no other reason, the greatest use of a Warhammer 40K 9th edition rulebook is to absolutely decimate a mouse.
Was it alive?
Oh, it was alive.
And
My
you-
dog was just sniffing it, like at his whole face. He smells by touching his whole head to whatever he's smelling.
Yeah.
So he just gets
Me
up,
too,
and it was
me
just
too.
like it was like a curtain. It was like a magician was like revealed the curtain, which was all his wrinkles on his face, and poof, there was a mouse there, and I just fucking boofed him. Done. Okay.
How would the mouse not run away?
He was kind of little. I think he was confused. He may have gotten bopped. Sometimes my dog will like step on a thing too.
Okay, he was kind of dazed and confused.
Yeah, he was concussed slightly.
And then you just crushed him with the tome of a book.
Smashed him. I hit him really hard because I have really hot, thick carpet and down in my basement.
Okay.
So it's like when I hit him and I immediately brought the book back up, he bounced like a trampoline.
Oh no!
He was like bam, and then he got up and he just poof, and he was just like, he was obviously dead. So anyway, I've had 5 in October.
all slain with the 40K rulebook.
Yes, like, yeah, it's like my version of the power sword. I need to like duct tape like a saw blade to the side, then I can turn it into a chain sword. Wow, wow! They come in a cut, then a smash. Like
called the Rat Slayer.
Yes. So I've had these issues with mice lately. I did find in the line where my AC unit comes into the side of my house, I had caulked that about 5 years ago. There was a hole about the size of a dime. And I'm like, these motherfuckers chewed through that and got in, recaulked that. Good news, everybody, for the last month, knock on wood, no mice. However, this was still fresh in my brain, these mice. I don't hate mice. I certainly don't like them. Something about rodents, their little beady eyes, and they're just disease-carrying bastards. So I watched the rat episode.
Yeah. Anyways, Guillermo del Toro. I watched the rat episode, which is creepy crawly as fuck. It's amazing. That night, I had the most vivid horror mice in my basement dreams ever. Like, they were like, the ceiling, I looked up and the ceiling was like cracking a little bit, and I was like, what is that? And then the whole ceiling breaks. It breaks under the weight of 1,000 mice falling onto my head over the painting area. They're landing on my desk. They're landing on me. It was intense. What you don't know about the podcast at the moment, John, is that Amber is editing it. It's just that Alex has more bandwidth to finish the courses of the Kickstarter campaign, and you basically just destroyed any opportunity I'd ever have of watching this show with my wife.
That's just, the thing is, because each one's different, there's only one episode about rodents, as far as I know.
It's all too much of a risk.
Watch the first one.
She's a vivid dreamer, and that dream you just described is probably like...
Right. I think I probably made sure that that's getting sucked into her subconscious.
No go. She's going to have secondhand dreams now.
Secondhand dreams? Beware. Bro, you can't dream in a car. You're just going to get secondhand dreams, bro.
All right. Anyways, Rings of Power. Have you read the Silmarillion?
Fuck no.
Okay.
I've tried 3 times. I own like a old version of it. And I've tried, and I'm just like, this is like a boring ass history book from college.
Yeah, I haven't either, and I think that's important to say before we like give our reviews of the show, our brief review. But I'm on episode 7 right now, or 8. I can't remember, 7 or 8. And like, there's a couple of weird, quirky things, but like for the most part, I'm really enjoying it.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. And there's so much hate about it out there, but it's like, now you think about it, nerds are so like spiteful on most things.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's fine. That's fine. I got on a talk real briefly. I got a little bit of an argument over my friend Tony about this show, because he's like, our group chat, he's like, oh, this show is shit. And Tony listens to the episode, I think, or the podcast anyway. And I'm like, it could be worse. Could be Game of Thrones. And he's like, no, Game of Thrones is so much better. The story, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, first of all, the Game of Thrones, the original shows, which I was referring to, is all based on like the actual origin book story. This isn't that, right? I don't expect this show to be able to tell this like amazing story of all the events that happened, because that already exists. Okay, this is an ancillary thing that like lets you peek behind some of the history and connect the ley lines of how things came to be.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't need to be able to stand on its own. You don't watch the show if you've never watched Lord of the Rings, right? You got to assume.
Yeah, man, that's really hard to think about what the show would feel like if I had never seen Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit movies or read any of the books.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've watched so many 80s fantasy movies in the last year and a half, and they all have this weird, campy, quirky nature to it that like this just like absolutely blows them out of the water in terms of like storytelling and like understandability and like all that stuff. But it's hard to know if I hadn't seen that stuff beforehand.
Yeah, I mean it also, I mean, the production value of it is so fucking good.
It's so fucking good. It's insane.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it feels obviously its budget is massive.
Yeah.
Right. But
It has to be.
it feels that way though. It feels like those goddamn albino orcs. I was like, oh my God, this could be like in the midst of, the two towers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
episode 6 is it's an hour and 20-minute episode. It's a feature-length film, and it has 50 minutes of fucking combat in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so that, okay, some of the arguments about why the show are bad that I've heard, because I put a little poll out on my Instagram story because I was watching it, enjoying it. About 60% of people like it, 40% don't like it, which is pretty close to half and half. Someone said that it was boring, and I was like, okay, each movie of Lord of the Rings is like about 3.5 hours long, and there's one major combat sequence in it, in each one. And that's kind of how this is working out right now.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's another combat sequence at the end of the show. Maybe I'm wrong about, am I wrong about that?
I'm trying to remember. No.
Okay, so there's like
Not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Okay.
You're not wrong.
So we got one at episode 6, and there were other small skirmishes leading up to that point.
There's 8 episodes, right?
Oh, is it?
I think it's 8.
Okay, I think I'm on the last one then. Okay. But it seemed like they follow the same pacing in terms of like how much action there is to like dialogue and drama and stuff like that. The other thing people were saying was that like the combat and battling didn't make any sense, but it's just like, it's a fucking fantasy movie. Like, who fucking cares? Like, it's just, I just want to see elves swinging swords, decapitating orcs.
You don't go from right-handed to left-handed sword swinging in the midst of a battle.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all based on fantastical things.
Dude,
right?
Also, it's dark as fuck, dude.
Yeah, at the end too. Like when you get to the end, like it gets heavier even.
It does it?
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it is shockingly dark at like 4 or 5 points so far that I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. Again, I'm not looking at it. Maybe that's why I enjoy it more. I'm not looking at it as a standalone miniseries that my mind is blank before I watch, and then it needs to, by the end of the whole thing, have had this all-encompassing experience. I look at it as, I fucking love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
This brings some things together, and some, lines are drawn. You see the history of characters. You can see, and some other stories that are totally new, because it's following a number of different storylines. So I enjoy. I also, I'm a nerd for Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
Who isn't, right?
I want more Lord of the Rings.
Right.
I'm curious how much of it is book accurate. Not that would affect my enjoyment of it, but I wanted my mom to watch it because she's got a fucking PhD in Tolkien lore. Because I'm curious, like, how much of the story is actually accurate to what was originally wrote. But I'm for everyone out there, I know people are gonna disagree with what we're saying right now. I'm curious, is there a fantasy TV show that you would recommend us other than Game of Thrones that is better than this? I think fantasy is a difficult thing to make movies about and TV shows about, because not only does it require all the normal abilities of making like a modern movie with like good script writing, good dialogue, all that stuff, but it requires costuming, it requires set location, all this extra baggage, right?
Yeah.
So these don't come along very often, right? So this is a pretty good showing. So I'm curious, is there a better one? Is there a better one that you would recommend?
That's just why when you bring that up, that's so important, because the Wheel of Time series on Amazon Prime, within the first episode, because I have recently reread, like halfway through the series again. It's fucking 70,000 books, but it's so bad. It looks like you and I went out in the woods with the camera and a bed sheet to act as a cloak. It just feels,
Really?
It feels like, all right, this is probably before your time, but like back in the day on the WB network, where it was like
Warner Bros? Is that what WB is in this case?
Yeah, WB was a TV station.
Okay.
It's still around, but it had a lot of like the reruns. It wasn't like a real TV station. They had like reruns of MASH and shit. But they had the show Hercules with Kevin Sorbo, and they had the show Xena Warrior Princess. And they also had like Buffy Vampire Slayer. They had a couple of bangers that were geared towards like teen audiences. But when I watched this Wheel of Time show, it felt like fucking Xena Warrior Princess, where it's like occasionally you see like a guy walking by and like you can see his jeans sticking out from under the fucking trousers. Like it just feels so low budget, like old school Star Trek style, right? Where it's just like cheesy.
Yeah. And that's okay. I'm for that, I've watched so many shitty sci-fi and fantasy movies that I've come to like actually appreciate that a little bit, which sounds super lame, but like I don't mind if that's there a little bit. It's kind of part of the genre to me a little bit.
Yeah. No, and like there's a bit of that. Like you can have that.
Yeah.
If you have things that are like, but the storytelling, the editing, the pacing, you know, like characters,
cool props, the cool fucking battles, like
like
cool characters. Yeah.
There's so many things that are actually more important than that in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But if any of those is also lacking, which Wheel of Time does as well, it does a shit-ass job of telling the actual story, which the first book is amazing, and what they chose to keep and why they didn't, and why the characters are, for some random reason, 15 years older than all the main characters in the book, because they're supposed to be like 14 years old, and they're like mid to late 20s. Anyway, there's just a lot of weird things there. So it's not that one. Maybe there's another one, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the case for you, but I have a hard time, like, reviewing a fantasy movie in the same way that I would review a movie like, I don't know.
The Green Mile.
Sure, The Green Mile.
Just a standard drama.
Yes.
Sure.
Because it's like, I have to get through the fact that these are elves and dwarves talking and they're speaking in the way that they speak before I even can talk about like the story making, or sorry, the dialogue, the script writing, how the edit is constructed. Like, I'm just so absorbed in the fact that like this is a fantasy story that I don't even necessarily care about those elements.
True.
So it's weird. Like, I don't understand why The Return of the King won Best Picture, but the other two didn't. To me, they're all fucking the same. They're all amazing. Right. I love them all. So yeah, that's another thing about me in fantasies. I have a hard time critically looking at them. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah, I think it more was because of you can't give it to the middle movie, right? So they know it's a trilogy. The first one didn't win. They can't give it to the second one. And the third one's like, oh shit, they get 3. They were all pretty fucking amazing. I think that's part of it. The other part of it is just pure from a competition level at any particular year. Of those 3 years,
okay,
one of those years was probably weaker in competition.
Okay,
and that's where the one wins. That's my outside Siskel and Ebert kind of opinion on that. But
yeah. Two Towers is the best.
It's the best. I love this. Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite because I love this, like the origin of the journey has begun. Yeah. Right? Like that whole feeling, the first hour of that movie, I'm just like, oh, fucking love this.
Yeah, it's fucking hype. All right, that was a hella long Preamble Ramble.
I ain't dropping no eaves, sir.
Samwise Gamgee! God, I just clicked so loud. I'm sorry, audio listeners. All right. Anyways, I bet like the fucking comment section below is gonna be like,
here's why you're wrong.
Speaking of that, in my I fucking low key put this in my video that went live today where I reviewed the Two Thin Coats bait. I made no reference to it. I didn't do a smirk at the screen. All I did was, as best I could, I just said, sure. I wanted to see if anyone would get it.
Has anyone got it so far?
I haven't. You know, the video went live when I was on the drive up here, so I haven't really even checked the comments yet.
We'll check it when we're getting canes.
Yeah. Okay. What we painted. Yes, what we painted.
What we painted.
I was worried our Preamble Ramble didn't have like anything in it we were going to talk about much.
Oh, no, bud.
Let's fucking talk about Lord of the Rings for an hour.
Yeah, so I've been a little sick. I got sick on Saturday, so this is 6 days ago. Yesterday was my first day back in the office, and I feel like great. I felt like shit for 4 days, but like I have a cough and I have congested nose still, but like I'm able to like work and focus and not get tired walking across the fucking room.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're curious why I sound this way, but while I was at home, I did watch Rings of Power, but I also played a fuckload of Hades, and I also, I got really deep into 3D printing.
That's a good thing to do when you're sick. Really.
I know, because you can just test shit, print it, forget about it. Exactly, yeah. So it really worked out. And I was trying to get these models from Last Sword printed, the Vampire Infantry. Uh-huh. And man, they would not print. They would not stick to their supports. They would constantly fail. And I was getting so pissed off. And I was like so convinced that it was an issue with the pre-supports, that they were just bad. And I showed them to some people that I trust their opinion of, Atlas Support Group, and they were like, honestly, I would just redo all of those because they just don't look great. which I was like, I mean, that's kind of like one of the values you buy these things for.
Yeah, I bought a thing to print, so it just happens.
Right. And I don't know how common of a thing this is, but I took one of the pre-supported models and I put it in Cheat Box, which I don't use anymore. Spoilers. And I did like...
You're a lychee boy now?
I'm a lychee boy, yes. And I did the island analysis tool in Cheat on one of these pre-supported models, and it came back with 67 islands.
Island boy!
I was just like, man, like, I don't know if that's like an issue with the tool or if this is like a thing in the industry, but like, how are there 67 islands on a pre-supported model? I don't know.
Can you explain what an island is?
An island is a model prints kind of upside down. It kind of comes out of the resin vat on the build plate. And an island is a part of the model that would be printing with no support and no attachment to the main body of the model. So it would just print in mid-resin vat air.
It would just stay there.
Yeah, it would just print right in the thing, and then it would just float to the bottom of the vat, blocking the bottom of the vat from other things. Now, an island can be microscopic. So it might not actually cause a lot of issues, but over time they build up, cause more print failure, stuff like that. Generally speaking, you don't want any islands. So I took it upon myself to learn Lychee and how to place supports and all that. And I went through a couple iterations, like dialing into my exposure. I feel like whenever I fucking 3D print shit, I gotta fucking relearn how to do it. And I hate that. And it's not a problem because I think you have it kind of nailed, right?
I have it nailed on 1.5 of my printers.
Okay, yeah. I think it's an issue with me and my brain. The thing is like I always want every print to be like right on that red line where it's like, if I go down 0.1 seconds in exposure, this is going to fail.
Sure.
Because I want that max quality.
Sure.
Like that's just not how it works, you know? But I want like every support to be like the exact size that it needs to be, not big and chunky. I want it to be as thin as it can be while not allowing for a print failure. So like I just want all these things to be like 100% all the time on every model, and that just ain't how it works. Like every mini is going to be a goddamn project, and I can't do that. So I dialed it back. I have a safe exposure, nice thick supports, holding the model to the build plate, and I got 2 really, really quality prints. But I have fucking 8 more guys to go.
Do you have it? Because I saw some pictures you had shared where you had different sizes of them. You're trying to get the size correctly.
103% is the...
That's right on?
It's right on.
Now, are those heads that I gave you, are those the correct to 103%?
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
They're not going to look like an orange on a popsicle stick or anything?
We'll see. I'll chop one off and put it on there. We'll see.
Okay.
But I think it'll be good. Yeah, I put it next to a skeleton. I wanted the vampires to be a little bit bigger, a little bit taller than some skellies.
Yeah, of course. They're still on 25s. Aren't Graveguards still on 25s, though?
I think they are, yeah.
Well, they always used to be. That was one of the values from a metagaming perspective is you could, with the 1 inch reach, you can still put them 2 deep.
Oh.
Because base size really matters in terms of 2 ranks being able to swing.
Because an inch is like, what, 28.5 mil or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, so at 25 mil, you can just put base to base and both rows can swing. Even at 32 mil, you can't.
Yeah.
You can do a little bit of a back and forth where the guys, there's 2 bases here, the guy that can sink his base just in between those exactly, he can typically swing. But that's very few in a second row. Okay. Plus, the bigger the base, the less guys you can skirt all the way around to get less people in. And as you probably saw when you played Evan, like even when he only had a unit of 5 of those dudes, very often he just couldn't position them to get more than like 2 dudes in.
Yeah.
So if your opponent is being, cagey.
Yeah.
So which you're cagey with them knights.
Dude, the Knights MVPs of both games so far. I gotta play Dan next. He's playing Cities of Sigmar. I don't know which of the fucking
cities. There's a lot of cities.
There's a lot of cities in Sigmar.
I'm assuming it's Cleveland.
Okay, yeah. Fucking Cleveland.
That's
right. My piece. That's what also I've been painting at home. I've been painting another unit of 10 skellies.
10 skellies.
And I'm like I don't know. I'm just chilling. I'm just painting slowly and I don't fucking care and it's great.
Nice. That is a good feeling.
Like Amber's reading next to me.
And she reading to you? And then on high, the Lord had said to him.
Yeah, she's reading from the fucking Bible. Well, I paint skeletons. No, it's...
shall pull the pin at 3.
No more. No less. It's been great, though. Like, I always had this theory that, like, you could base coat a thing silver, wash it blue, repaint it silver. Or you could start dark blue and then just paint it and leave all the details you want to be dark. And I don't know if that's faster because it kind of requires you to be kind of like fiddly with like recessed shades and shit like that. But that's what I've been doing. And it's looking really nice, looking really sharp. So I'm happy just kind of taking my time and painting slowly.
Okay. Speaking of that, that's a great transition to what I painted. I painted this Demon Prince. And I have you look at the metals. And what I actually did for the metals on this was because I did an undercoat of like a rusty red and then under zenithal with like a deeper reddish brown. And then when I did the metals, all I did was a calculated dry brush coming from top down on all the metals. So there was fairly sizable sections where none of the metallic paint touched. And this creates a lot more contrast, obviously, because you have haves and have-nots of touching the metal. And then I did like an Agrax, his version of an Agrax Earthshade wash over the whole thing. And then I just did touch edge highlights to bring back that shine. Now, granted, this is wanting a more pitted, a more worn metallics. But it was fast.
Yeah.
It's that effect.
That's the other thing is that when you're reapplying that layer after the wash, you're not like necessarily repainting like 90% of the surfaces. You're kind of just like you're grazing edges, you're painting little scratchy bits in flat areas, stuff like that. So it's much faster. So that's why I said I wasn't sure if that other method was actually any faster.
Yeah. So
nice. This is like a great tabletop plus standard. Like if you had an army of this shit, like it would look so fucking banging.
That was kind of my goal with it, was that this is, and I already had somebody, and because I had posted pictures of this guy this morning in my Instagram, and somebody asked me like, what percentage ball sack is this? That's a great question.
It is.
And I hadn't really thought about that. And I would say this is probably 60% ball sack, maybe 50. Yeah, I'd say 60. There were certain parts of it that like I knew I had to commit more time to build it up to a level that it was going to be mildly impressive to look at arm's length or in a thumbnail or a picture online or holding or seeing at the table, right? But there were a lot of things where I cut a buttload of corners because this thing has got so much square footage of actual shit you have to paint. Fuck wings, okay? Fuck wings in their dumb butts.
Dude, I am dreading painting the zombie dragon wings. I am dreading it.
It's got a very similar style as this. Because also, look at these fucking wings. Why does every Games Workshop wing look like goddamn Tyranids? Those look like fucking Tyranid wings.
They kind of do. They're a little bit more like tattered at the bottom, but like looking up though, kind of, yeah.
It even has all those like the little ridge things, like they're little armor plates that Tyranids have.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
I don't understand. Yes, he's got he's got jewelry all over his wings. That's his thing. But they're like 80% the exact same wings as Tyranid wings. But
this is the future of your Slaves to Darkness scheme right here.
One of the reasons why I wanted to paint him was because he's so different, in terms of like the setup of demon skin, which is mostly what he is, and big wings and stuff. I felt like I could paint him in a way where I wasn't locked into a scheme. And I painted with a lot of neutrals outside of that. So his armor is actually just a couple of coats of a wash over top of that prime to give it almost like it's not quite black. It kind of looks like a brownish black. Put scratches on there, whatever. It's kind of could fade into whatever color I want. I'm not like, hey, this is turquoise armor. Then I'm like, oh, whole army has to be turquoise armor.
You talk about that in the video? That's actually really interesting.
I didn't because I didn't commit to. It wasn't part of my storyline. I was committing to this being part of the army.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things I had to talk about. At the end of the video, I kind of like bring that in and like, what do you think? Should I continue this?
That's like a really cool strategy, though. It's like I'm just dipping my toe. Dipping my toe in a safe way.
Yeah. Also, there's a rule in the army where like if there's a certain ability that if your hero is slain, you roll 2d6, I think. And if you roll an 11 or a 12, they explode in fire and turn into a demon prince. So even if I don't use a demon prince on my army, I got one painted.
That's true.
It'd be like, bam, demon prince.
I hate that fucking rule more than anything in the world. There's so much bullshit like that in Age of Sigmar, and it ruins the game. It fucking ruins the game.
Actually, I don't know if it's when you kill him. I think it's...
I could totally see that happening. That sounds just like...
I don't think it's as powerful as that. I think it's like when there's these set of things that can happen that allow you to roll on this table. And each of the results, some of them are bad. Some of them, like, they just fucking die.
As they should!
Yeah, but like 11, you remove that hero from the table and replace him with the Demon Prince.
Okay.
And then at 12, you get to choose whatever result you want on the entire table. That's a 12 on 2d6. Come on, you should... And that's the most powerful one. There's stuff like it can heal a couple wounds or stuff like that. But
yeah.
Anyway, so that I have one. I was pretty happy with the base. So I sculpted that base out of Epic Basing. Their new stuff is called Demon Stone, a bunch of different things, and a bunch of epoxy sculpt that I used. And in something new we tried this week, part of the after party, our extended version of the podcast that our patrons have access to. I'm going to go to something that I learned about that base, that process, because it's actually sculpted. That front rock, you can probably tell, is sculpted into the model, that the one that his big leg is standing on in front. And obviously that stone doesn't look like the other stones.
Kind of does.
But it's close enough, and I guess if you painted it the same way, it kind of looks like it belongs.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't really like... I mean, now that you bring it up, yeah, it's a little bit smoother, less jagged than the other ones, but like I didn't think about that one until you said something.
Yeah. But that series, that rock series from Epic Basing, is a brand new one, and it's called Demon Stone. I'm like, I guess I'm using Demon Stone. Yeah. He's a demon prince.
They made the choice for me.
Yeah. So that was really fun to sculpt that. So that was probably another little bit extra amount of ball sack in the sculpting and figuring out how to paint that how I wanted to in the base, instead of just like throw some fucking basing paste down there, throw a couple tufts and a couple rocks, and call it good.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that definitely served it well.
And it's actually a basing scheme that I think I would tweak it a little bit, but that I think really would work for an army.
How would you tweak it a little bit?
So how I did it was, it's a airbrush spray of like a Mephiston. Wasn't Mephiston red? It's a darker one than Mephiston. Not corn red either. They have like a dark red, whatever color, that I airbrushed the whole thing. And I did a couple series of dry brushes to build up this almost like charcoal look. I would have started with a more vibrant red underneath to show it a little bit more, because you cover up most of it. And at the tabletop, you can't really even see that red.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't want it to be like Clown Fiesta, like dumb bright ass red, but
I think it helps that similar red, if not the same one, is on the model itself.
You are correct. That same red is used a lot on this model.
Yeah. So you see it though, because it's on the other parts of the model.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. That makes sense.
There was an element of the Preamble Ramble that I forgot. So if we're done with what we painted, can we pop back for a second? I need you to reach under your chair.
Oh, okay.
On the left side, it might be a little bit deep because I didn't want you to see it.
Fucking deep
when you came in. But we're gonna do a little taste test today. Of yeah, John's got to get on the fucking ground right now to get this thing.
What the fuck? They're fucking cakes. Goddamn Oreo cakesters under my chair.
Oh, I bought John some Oreo cakesters to just kind of finish this trilogy off here. We brought it up.
This is Return of the King of Oreo cakesters.
Yeah, this is Return of the fucking cakesters. Yeah, we had the cakester strike back in the previous episode.
Yeah.
We had a new cakester in the other one. Now we're mixing our Lord of the Rings and Star Wars references.
Right. We got to clink it and sink it here, okay?
All right.
Get yourself in there. Please don't drop it on my Demon Prince.
I will not.
Okay, initial and first smell test. I mean, that smells like... It smells like preservative goodness, right?
I mean, yeah, it kind of feels like it too. I'm ready.
All right, clink it. You gotta clink it. Beep. With your sick ass. All right, let's do this.
Man, that is so fucking soft.
It's soft, yet like not moist.
Oh, it's like dry soft?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I can't taste shit right now. I don't have COVID. I did 2 antigen tests negative, but I'm congested. So all it is to me is texture.
Yeah, it's just
softness.
Well, you should be able to taste whether or not there's moisture in the cake.
No, yeah. It's a little bit dry, sure.
Okay. All right, this is snacks test out of 10. To me, this is like if you like this,
I'm so scared what you're gonna say.
I know there's nothing.
You like this? You're a piece of shit.
No, if you like this, I need to introduce to you something called the Hostess Ding Dong.
Oh, baby.
Because this is like a Hostess Ding Dong. If the Hostess Ding Dong was like not very good, like this is good. This isn't bad, but like a Hostess Ding Dong is this, but with moist cake, and then like dipped in a thin layer of chocolate
with a little swirly.
No. The swirlies are only on the cupcakes.
Oh,
Cupcakes. Okay, the cupcakes and the ding dongs are basically the same product, just repackaged. It's like anything at Taco Bell. They make one thing, they just make it look different.
Same 5 ingredients,
right?
Mixed.
That's the same thing with pretty much anything from Hostess that is chocolate based.
Right.
This is solid. I'm glad I gave you time to finish your cake so that you can taste.
Yeah, no, it's just like I'm just fucking eating it. It's for the calories.
This is great. It is not bad. It is certainly not a cookie.
Yeah, you don't gotta finish it if you don't want to.
Oh, I'm going to. It's not.
Okay.
I mean, it's good.
Okay,
it's good, but I mean, it's no Oreo.
Let's cut back to previous John, who was saying these are shit or whatever.
I would never claim it. I would claim
you flamed him pretty hard.
Listen, I stand by my statement. I'm glad I ate one. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy them, though.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for bringing this back full circle. We can lay this to rest.
The Cakester saga.
Do we need some Cakesters merch? It's just a shirt that shows like 2 Cakesters, like cartoon Cakesters floating in the air, and then it just says "fuck Cakesters" on it.
I think what we need is everything, everywhere, all at once themed shirt where it's just like every reference from like season 3 of the podcast is on a shirt.
Oh,
fucking Play-Doh snakes, fucking Oreo Cakesters, fucking Hormel's Secret Laboratory, like everything, you know, just all makes no sense.
I mean, that's a smart idea. At the end of every season, we have like the season retrospective shirt.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And then everyone can go back and be like, "Oh man, this was the 2020 season. Remember, there was I don't remember what our references were, but
yeah,
it will be distinctive references from that."
I think that was definitely when Meat and Potatoes was very strong. So you might even say that hoodie was kind of one of those things.
That's true. The season 1 was the season of Meat and Potatoes. Well, like the first full Tup season. I mean, Tendies can never die, so that will always be here.
Yeah. The golden Tendy will always be at the center.
As if we would ever want it to die, but in case we ever did, the fact that we eat canes every time we record, it's always top of mind.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of Canes hate in the Facebook group.
Really?
A lot.
Like specifically canes?
No, well, I mean, it's because it comes up the most because it's our podcast. So whenever someone gets like Canes, not whenever, but very often someone will post their Canes order, be like, "Hey, got Canes," and then like half of the comments are like,
"The fuck does this have to do with anything?"
They don't say. I mean, yeah, some say that, but I say half of the people who are talking about the food don't like it. They're like, "It's not good. It's low quality, whatever." And maybe I don't know. Maybe it is, but
I think for a chain, it's pretty fucking good.
I tend to agree.
You know, if you were to say to me, you can either never have Canes for the rest of your life, or you can never have Popeyes for the rest of your life, I might say sayonara to Canes.
Wow.
Now,
I was not expecting that.
Take this with a grain of salt, because I don't have either of those restaurants in my hometown. And I do have shitty-ass KFC. But, I mean, KFC can be okay. But, like, you know, I like that juiciness from a bone, bro. You know?
Yeah, I know. It helps.
But Cane's is solid.
Yeah. It is.
Let's spend more time talking about chicken on this show.
This portion of today's episode is sponsored by Broken Anvil Miniatures, who's showing off their new Kickstarter campaign, Forged, featuring a massive miniature collection.
Forged is a huge selection of beautifully sculpted 28mm heroic scale pre-assembled plastic miniatures. Together with 5e compatible content, and Broken Anvil is offering this enormous assortment of minis to backers at wallet-friendly prices.
Keen observers will notice that this campaign looks familiar. The BAM team has relaunched this product after receiving feedback from the community, and the Forged campaign you see today has been retooled, revamped, and restructured to be more accessible to fans. It is chock full of diverse minis, easy unlocks, and amazing add-ons, all at an incredible deal.
You can choose the Heroes box, which features an exciting array of brave and daring characters, or perhaps the Enemies Encounter box, with its squads of formidable foes to fit your style. And who doesn't need a creepy lich in their collection anyway?
Maybe you want both heroes and enemies? Well, you can with the Adventure Box.
They've also got something called the Forge Masters Bundle, and that is the ultimate value here, folks, because you get all the minis in the Adventure Box, plus the 5e Adventure Module, plus the Creature Compendium, plus the 7-piece Dragon Bundle, plus the 45-piece Terrain Bundle. And the list goes on.
Head over to Kickstarter to see for yourself just how much you're going to get by supporting this campaign.
Thanks to Broken Anvil for sponsoring this portion of the episode. You can check out links to the Forge Kickstarter below in the show notes or video description.
Today's topic comes from one of our goody peepees, JP Mager. What does he write here, John?
JP Mager says, rock stars and celebrities have a history of outrageous lists of demands for their accommodations in order to perform for a show. From Van Halen's M&Ms with all the brown ones removed to Will Ferrell's request for a flight of stairs on wheels. JP's question is, what would be in your contract riders, including both hobby and non-hobby requirements?
So the presumption is that we are going somewhere for a live performance, and we are required to have a certain set of things. But you wanted to expand this question, right?
Yeah, like my brain went to a couple of different areas.
Okay.
I wrote it in the text tube, but I forgot what I said. But I think there's a couple ways to think about this. One, this is just a fun question, but I think there's actually some meat and potatoes to this question to bring us back to season one, of kind of the things that we really are looking for, we require, and different parts of our miniature calendars across the year that we would want things to be done. Now, the obvious over-the-top silly one, I think, is what we start with first. So we have been invited to the red carpet premiere of whatever the newest Netflix hit TV show about miniature painting.
Okay.
Right?
Non-hobby stuff.
So this is the fun one. Then we're going to get into the real deal. Okay?
Tango.
So, we're standing there in the red carpet premiere, and then Channing Tatum comes up, and he's like, what's up, guys? And we're like, who are you? And then he's like, oh, man, I love that Space Marine you painted. And you're like,
who are you?
Here's the keys to the Bentley. Take it around back, chauffeur. And he's like, oh, I wish you guys were in my next movie. We're like, what? You're in movies? He's like, yeah.
Was this one of your dreams too?
Sure. Yeah. So we're seeing beautiful people. We're obviously the in the middle of the road of the beautiful people. We're not the most beautiful people. We're not the least beautiful people either.
Yeah.
And we're there, and we're like, okay, look, I'm going to send you backstage before you go on live with Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know how these events are. What do we need? What are we requesting, Scott? What are the things that will make our vain selves happy to be here, or not pissed to be here? Right?
Not pissed is, yes, that's how I would describe it as well.
Yeah.
I need a Dr. Pepper in a can, not a bottle, not a fucking fountain drink.
Mm-hmm.
I need it in a can. I need it basically to the point where if it were any colder, it'd be freezing.
Okay.
And I need a koozie so that I can drink that at whatever speed I want, and it'll stay as cold as I need it to be for the length of that duration. Because I'm a savorer, okay?
Oh,
I don't fucking chug my sodas, okay? I drink a can of soda over the course of an hour and a half.
Sure.
And my dentist hates it. And my wife, if so help me fucking God, if she asks for any amount of that soda, it's a hard fucking no, okay? My body is fucking designed to consume whatever amount of goddamn liquid is in that fucking can. No more and no less, okay?
12 ounces.
12 ounces, okay? I'm trained to enjoy that much soda in that amount of time at that temperature.
How much time does it take you to go through one of these?
Like an hour.
Yeah, that's a fair amount.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, you don't, dude. If it's DP, you chug that too much, you're just gonna have the DP burps.
Yeah, no good.
Hardcore DP burps.
We don't want that. Yeah.
So, like you're saying, you need to me, I'm hearing it's mostly about the temperature.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And
I want it to hurt. You know.
Oh, so like if this was an A&W root beer, it'd be like the frosty mug, right? Like the frosty. You ever had one of those?
I haven't.
Okay, so
I'm agreeing.
Bro, we need to go to A&W sometime. We did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, but you go and eat in there, and you get a root beer. Yeah. They give you this big glass mug that they put the root beer in, and they take it out of the fucking freezer, and it's covered in frost.
Yeah, dude.
That's the temperature, frosty mug.
Okay.
So it feels like you want the frosty mug and you just didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
While it's still in the can.
Yeah. But the issue is I think that would cool down over the course of an hour too fast. So that's why you need the koozie. I have like this fucking black koozie that surrounds a can, like of that size, in insulating material, so it stays pretty fucking cold for like a whole hour.
This is like rich people koozies. I was just figuring like a little Miller Lite one.
Oh no, none of that shit. This is it's hard, it's metal, it's awesome.
Is it made by
I'm a fucking advanced soda drinker, okay?
Okay, yeah, okay. Is it made by the company that makes the expensive ass coolers and stuff?
Yeti?
Is it a Yeti can coolie? I'm sure they make them.
I'm sure they do too. I don't know. There's a lot of companies like this, like Hydro Flask and shit. There's like a ton of them. Dude. So it's one of those ones. It's not a Yeti one.
There's a Christmas gift idea for you, Scott. Amber, if you're editing this, Scott needs a Yeti can cooler thingy bullshitter.
I wouldn't mind one for the office, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right, anyways. That's my first item. I need my drink.
Okay. All right. I need randomly placed throughout the green room. So like stuck between couch cushions, like in the potted plant, like on the underside of the ceiling fan. I need 12 single shots of Fireball cinnamon whiskey hidden around the room like Easter eggs.
Okay.
And then if I'm a little nervous, if I'm a little bored, if I want to loosen up, someone comes in, and I don't even not only does this need to happen, I need to not know it has happened. So then when somebody comes up and they see my mood isn't exactly where I want it, they're like, Mr. John, hidden across this room are 12 Fireball single shots. Can you find them? And I get to go around the room searching for booze. And then my reward is every time I find one, I get to slam a little Fireball cinnamon whiskey. And I feel warm on the inside and I feel happy on the outside.
There you go.
That doesn't seem that difficult.
No. But would you be surprised if that were happening if you requested it though?
Listen, part of writers like this, somebody call me. Fuck you, potential spam. I don't know that name. It sounds suspicious.
First name potential, last name spam.
Oh man, that's a pretty good Twitter handle, actually.
Potential spam. Oh my god, it really is.
Oh man, I think that's gonna name my next MMO character.
Oh man, that reminds me. Girlfriend reviews when they played Breath of the Wild, they named Link "I farted," and so
because they say that all the NPCs just name "I farted."
And so you see someone just randomly say "I farted." It's just this is fantastic. I love that.
All right, so here's the thing. Here's the part of being a difficult celebrity is that you don't want to have to use your precious, very rich words, ideas, and time. You want everybody to be able to think about what you want without you ever having to say it.
Okay, so you're just assuming that they would have done this for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I will say, years from now, I'm randomly at like an Olive Garden, okay, and you know, I don't get like the free rangoons or whatever, but then like
Just a fucking rangoon.
like the waitress comes over, and as she puts the breadsticks, she slowly leans in and she says, "Mr. John, somewhere in this Olive Garden, I have hid 12 single shots of Fireball cinnamon whiskey. Find them if you dare." That would be the best day of my fucking life.
Yeah.
And the whole Olive Garden would think that I had lost my mind. I would be like flipping up plates of meatballs.
Did you be like searching inside salad bowls?
Yeah, I'd be like because they have all the fake tchotchke shit everywhere. I'd be pulling it off the walls.
You'd be in there.
I would be the happiest day of my life.
Looking in minestrone soups.
Just looking between
For a shot of liquid in a soup. Yeah.
You know, that baked ziti. There's a lot of space inside of those
volume
noodles.
in there. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, that's mine.
All right. Okay. Okay, that was a pretty good idea. So in the spirit of that, I would request a either vintage or indie pewter vampire model that I had never discovered in my life as a gift.
Okay.
Okay, for my collection of pewter vampires that
Sure.
is growing every day
Yeah.
irresponsibly. So yeah, that's all I want.
Okay.
A little old school vampire model.
Okay. I got another one.
Okay.
Okay. Right before we're going on Kimmel, okay? We're in the green room, or we're about to go on stage, right? And our handler says, "Mr. John, there is a special guest that is here to see you, and we think it will get you the most hyped for the show." And I'm like, "Bring them in." And they open the door, and in walks Bindi Irwin. You know who Bindi Irwin is?
No.
Bindi Irwin is Steve Irwin's daughter.
Okay.
Okay.
Fuck, dude.
Okay. She and her brother have continued Steve's legacy.
Okay.
Like they're zookeepers. They love animals. Okay.
Okay.
Bindi Irwin walks in, and she, hanging from all over her shirt, are baby sloths.
You're a sloth man?
Dude, baby sloths are the cutest fucking things in the face of the earth.
Okay.
And she just like walks up and she sticks her arms out, and I stick my arms out, and the baby sloths, over the course of the next 30 minutes,
I was going to say the exact same thing.
slowly move from her arms to my arms onto me.
Okay.
And I don't know Bindi, so like we have to have our hands touching to create the rope bridge for the sloths.
Yeah,
so it's a little awkward, but I feel like it's worth it.
Okay.
And so before the sold out Wembley Stadium, I get my picture taken, covered in baby sloths.
Okay. But you're like an hour late for your like show.
Yeah. You have to handle the first part of the show.
Because like you're like the sloths are still getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I come out for the first song. I assume we're singing.
Yeah.
The first song, I still have the sloths.
Right.
Yeah, because then it'll be a sloth-themed song.
There it is. Right. I figured basically our music would be like Weird Al Yankovic, but instead of like a bunch of different things he like replaces song lyrics with, it'd just be all tendies.
Yes.
Every song is just tendies, but like follows the melody of like, we built this canes on sauce and chicken. Yeah, that's what it'd be. Just that. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good. Bindi fucking Irwin. What the fuck? Okay. You know the guy in Indiana Jones says, Kalima Shatire.
Yeah.
Okay, I would require
Someone's going to rip out your heart?
that kind of ritual to occur
Oh, shit. I like this.
before the concert on the stage, just to give it the right kind of vibes. You know,
Human
ritual.
sacrifice?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
but like the movie.
Like the movie.
I just want to see it in real life.
I feel like this took a dark turn.
It might have.
I had baby sloths, and you had a man ripping the live beating heart out of another man's chest.
Wouldn't that be fucking sick though?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, I that's really it. I'm a simple man. I only want two things. I want hidden fireball and I want baby sloths. So we can maybe now move on to the other things that I actually like. These are real things in some capacity or another in regards to our riders.
Let's do it.
Okay. The first scenario, Scott. Hey. You have signed up for a class, a painting class, okay, as a student. Okay. The class could be at a game store, so our answers can be related to either like at a game store, at a different location that the teacher has come to your town or is from your town.
Okay.
So you can either give answers related to that, or you sign up for a class at a convention. So your riders here these are what, when I go into that class, or maybe even before the class, these are things, my must-have lists. So this is stuff that's like we feel strongly about from this perspective of being a miniature painting student.
Number 1, a primed model.
Oh, bazinga. Yes. If I have to go into your class and do pre-work,
Any fucking work.
go fuck yourself.
I mean, sorry, not any fucking work. Like, obviously, you got to paint the fucking
Yeah, you're right. You were there for some reason. That would
right, yeah.
do some work. So if the model's not assembled, if it's not cleaned, if you gotta, if I have to like deal with all the mold lines. Now, that said, if a teacher had like 25 students there and they built and primed all the models, got everything ready, put them on like painting handles for you and everything, but there was one or two little mold lines or something that they missed or whatever, like I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's be realistic.
Also, if it's like a free class at your local game store, like, what are you really asking for here? Like, this is like, we're talking about like a paid experience, right?
Yes, you are paying for this.
Okay,
as a
yeah,
student.
yeah.
You are the customer.
Okay.
I'm the customer now.
I'm the customer now.
You gonna think I got one?
Okay, you go.
Okay, this one is more specific to at a game store or another location, not tied to a convention. There's a painting class. Okay, this better be in its own fucking room, that with a door that can be closed.
Yep.
And then it's also not in an area that is loud. So there's not like construction going on. There's not like all sorts of noise directly outside the room. This is about, I want a quiet space, not zero noise, but the whole point of this is I want to be able to hear the teacher well. I want to be able to focus on what we're there about. I don't want distractions. The big thing, in its own room, I'll add a little bit, that is comfortable for the amount of people there,
Absolutely.
with a door that closes.
Yep.
And you may be like, John, this is silly. Why is that something you have to say? Because you'd be fucking surprised. A lot of places that want to host their own miniature painting,
Oh my God, yeah.
they do it in their game store, and they want it like on the tables where they play their games in the whole open part of the store. If you work at a game store, you own a game store, you want to bring in painters or whatever, you better come up with a way that isn't that, because that is a miserable experience for teacher and student, and you may not realize it that it would be, but it certainly is.
You get a lot of emails from like people who, not a lot, maybe like once a quarter, people who want to do a class with us, and they're like, we have our space available. We ask about the size. We always ask about like, is it, closed off? And it almost never is.
Yeah.
And I always have to have that kind of awkward conversation with
Right.
them about like, isn't going to work. It's just, I've done it. It's a terrible experience.
Yeah. It's like, think back to high school. Would you think it's a good idea to teach history class in the one side of the gymnasium while gym class is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's not nice.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to get out of is like, oh, as passerby, your other customers can see this is happening.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Or like the people in your class, it's nice if they can go and like they can buy something they need. They don't have it, like a paint or something, or like a paintbrush or whatever. That is actually a super nice convenience.
Yeah, but if you're at the store that has another room, that's the ideal thing I'm talking about here is like they can open the door, go out. I got to go run and grab a Uriel yellow.
Yep.
Come back, then they can do that. But yeah. And my very first painting class I taught was at a local store as part of their grand opening event that they had. and I was there for 6 hours, and it was a 6-hour introduction pop-in class.
Yeah.
Which means like people could come in at any point, and the store provided them a mini. I brought all my own paints, which typically if you're teaching a class, you bring paints of your own for students to use. That's fine. But in this situation where they didn't even have to like sign up for this class, they could just come in, and that wasn't smart. But anyway, by the end of 6 hours, when it was in like the midst of this whole store in its grand opening where other events were going on, at 6 hours, I had talked a lot in my life. I have never had my voice more shot than that. You don't realize how you're fucking screaming at the top of your lungs for 6 straight hours because people can't hear you.
Yeah, because you're just competing against like gamers and just shoppers and stuff.
And I had it set up like a big rectangle of tables, and I was in the center, and I'd go over to people and just like basically keep doing loops because everyone was at different spots because they came in at different times. And so I was close to people the whole time, and I still fucking threw out my voice. So, okay, so that's another one I got.
Okay, I think comfortable chairs. You're sitting in those things for like 16 hours, and so if like you have like a folding metal chair, I don't know. I hate it when I like stand up from a bad chair, and like you get that delayed pain. And it's like, okay, when is it going to come? And it's like a second later, it's like, oh, my ass. It hurts so much.
It shoots right down to my ass. Yeah.
Chairs is nice.
That's a tough thing, especially at like conventions and stuff. It's like they have like 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 chairs, but they're never going to have, when they have so many classes going on, great chairs.
Yeah, no, I don't need something super nice. I think the chairs at Adepticon are good enough for me.
Yeah.
Like a cushioned butt and back, like whatever, that's good enough for me.
Yep.
But nothing like,
you're not doing it all day every day when you're at home painting, right?
Yeah.
Because we went to wizard school and with Mr. Ben Comets.
Yes.
And we were in there for, I don't know, 4, 6, 17 hours. I don't even remember. I didn't remember having a bad back from that.
No. Or any of my Adepticon class experiences, it never felt like, this is a terrible like comfort level. They're all fine.
To tie that into expectations of gear, right? So first things first, communication. When I'm going to a class, I want to have a communication from the event and or the teacher. Ideally, it's a combination of both that makes it clear so I know all that I need to bring.
Yeah.
What's expected of me? I'm prepared. I have all the things I need, so I'm set up for success. The goal is that I don't have any unnecessary roadblocks to me to do the thing that I'm there to do, right? Small mistakes and goof ups and oversights can happen, but I think if you're prepared as a teacher to be forthright in that communication, and there are questions that come back, it will happen prior to the day, and then you can head that off and get everyone on the same page. So that is really important, communication, and so the students have access to you as a teacher, and communication prior to the event is very important. Because we had one for our Las Vegas class, great example that this person, they're one of my patrons. Otherwise, they didn't have access to us if they didn't have access to us through our own communication methods, like people emailing us through the top email or whatever, or messaging us on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
He messaged me directly on Patreon, and he has a physical disability, and he's got some issues with movement and stuff, and he wanted to talk about that and kind of clear things up, and I had a good conversation with him about that. And to be able to feel comfortable as a attendee and as a customer by having that conversation prior to the day of takes a lot of stress off of you, and maybe takes some nervousness or anxiety about the event off of your plate, so you can just enjoy. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. I mean, those are kind of the major things for classes for me.
I got one more.
Okay.
And that is, and this is kind of in line with the models already primed or whatever, but like all the equipment that is necessary for success is there. If the teacher told me I need to bring my own painting light, great. If they didn't say that, I want the lights to be there to be, to work. We each all have our own individual light over our own painting area. If it's expected to be airbrushes, there's all airbrushes. No, they're not clogged. And paper towels.
Water.
Yep, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, access to water is really important.
Unless we're kind of all hanging around the teacher, I want a freaking big screen TV, or I want
a
projector.
I don't want to have to fucking stand up to see what you're doing at any point.
Yes, the teacher, every student in your class, from where they're sitting at their painting area, should be able to have a good view. We have the technology. It is available to see what the teacher is doing while they're talking to you and explaining. Yes, you can have the over the shoulder. Everyone come huddle over my shoulders. There is some value to that, and I still think that it's not a bad thing to offer. But almost every class size you have, if you do that, half of your students don't get a good view anyway.
Man, not even half of them. Like fucking 3 people can see what you're doing. The rest have no fucking clue.
Yeah, it's the person over your left shoulder, the person over your right shoulder, and then maybe the 2 taller people that are slightly have their head above those people.
Yeah.
That's about it.
There's some fucking losers that are like standing in front of your desk that are just like absolutely hopeless.
I have no idea.
Like they have no fucking clue.
The real fucking trick, if you want to know how to get the best view, is you go under the table, you slide up under their crotch, your head just sticks up right in front of their chest, and it's just staring.
And you're like, hey, Roman.
Yeah, you're like, hey.
Did you shower today, bro?
Bro, there's no TV there. I can't see what you're painting, so I made myself see.
Put a TV in your crotch.
I am crop division. So technology. I think that's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's a writer as a student in a class.
And I would suggest, if you're signing up to take a class locally, you're not sure, maybe you're excited about the class, or if you have access to the venue to communicate to or the teacher to communicate to, even before you sign up, like ask some questions. We don't want you to have a frustrating painting experience. If you can, if these couple of boxes are checked, it should be good. If they're like, oh, it's in the middle of our 40,000 foot square store, but, and you guys can just move the Warhammer train off and paint, right? You're going to have a bad time if that's how this is set up.
As an event coordinator, yeah, you need to ask endless questions. Trust no one to understand your vision for how you want something to work.
Yes.
In life, all the time.
Never trust anyone.
That's my policy. Always ask endless questions. All right, as a consumer of hobby products, what's your rec for a hobby store? When you walk in and you see this thing, you're like, okay, they know what they're doing. There's some products if I saw them, I'd be like, okay, they understand. Like if I saw, I went to Tower and I saw Rosemary & Co. brushes. And I was like, I know for a fact these are manufactured in England, but I also know for a fact that they are considered to be a price performant brush option in our hobby. And I'm finding them in a store in Minnesota. I was like, okay, this store is paying attention to what people want and what they think they like. That was like a green tick for me right there.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying what I want out of my local game store,
or layout, or feature wise, whatever it is, events, anything that goes into running a successful hobby store.
Okay. Well, I got some stuff here. The first one for me is I want the store to take responsibility and put in the effort to manage and promote their own events. They're starting a new Age of Sigmar League. There's a new Blood Bowl season that's starting. We have every Thursday as Warhammer night. If you show up, you get to Warhammer. They're pushing it in their Facebook groups. They're doing quarterly events for different kinds of games, or maybe more often, maybe less often, whatever. That they're being proactive in the success of their business by bringing the community together. Because if the community can come together and they feel like they have support, and it's not just the community are the only ones that need to make it happen, you have that backbone, so it doesn't, the game falls off, right? Without the support of a store, sometimes I want my store to have a vested interest.
Yeah.
in the things I'm excited to play. And if they have a vested interest, they're going to have their ears open to what games they should carry more stock for. What things it's just like, oh, hey, next week they're coming out with a new, Goblin Palooza box. You want one? Like, people this may seem fucking crazy, but the people at the store should be excited about the things and be able to tell you about the things that you're excited about. I know that sounds crazy. I got a local store that isn't that way. So that's what I want.
Okay. That makes sense. I want good organization. I want the games to be organized by like play style.
I want box color. I want organized by box color. Yeah.
I love it when the game store has some organized with their spines out and some that are flat.
Yeah.
And what always ends up happening is I always fucking look at the ones that are flat.
I know.
I never read the fucking spines. I just want to see the pretty pictures.
Yes.
So like your best sellers, the ones that are highest rated on Board Game Geek, have those ones be flat, have the other ones on the spine, and have them all organized by genre of game. Like I would love that.
It's the old tried and true Barnes and Noble setup.
Yes.
Right? You got the new releases thing when you come in.
You come in, yes.
We come in. Yes, that's it. Like you go in, exciting new things. The new shinies are here. I know at Source Comics and Games, they have the new stuff thing.
I like that.
And I always, every time I'm there, I do a loop around that.
Do a loop around it, yep. Every time.
I know. And I would never, like, all the things that I've bought off of that new release thing, I would not have bought if that new release thing wasn't there.
Yeah.
You also have like these like, oh, there's a new game coming out that's like Marvel superhero based. Okay, we're gonna do a display that's got Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's got maybe some Marvel comics. It's got some I don't know what other things. Pogs, Marvel Pogs.
What the fuck's a Pog?
Bro, you don't know what Pogs are?
I mean, I know, like in the world of Twitch, I know what that is, but.
Oh, no. You don't know what
Pogs a PAWG?
No. No, not that. Yeah, those two. Those are on the end cap. No, POGS. Pogs, baby. Oh, man.
I think I fucked up. Just quick look up what that is.
POGS. Don't look up what the other thing you said. Dude, yeah, that's straight up 90s, bro. We're gonna have some.
I'm gonna open an incognito tab.
Yeah, so all of our boomer listeners out there will know what fucking Pogs are.
Fucking A, dude.
They're milk caps that you play a game with, and you slam the milk cap down in the stack, and they flip over. If they flip over, you win them. It's basically gambling for children. Became a hot thing. I wonder if my mom still has my Pogs.
I love this, dude. Oh my god.
We can play some Pogs later.
Okay, yeah, dude.
Okay.
Here, click some Pogs.
Yeah. Poggers is different.
It's different, yes.
So yeah, I like that. I like organization. I need to know where I want to know where I'm going to find a thing if I want to go in there.
Absolutely.
Know where the D&D books are and the minis and the whatever.
Mm-hmm. Comics and whatnot.
I want my game store. I want to sometimes be surprised, if that's a weird thing. So this goes into how they choose to invest in their inventory. And you obviously are going to have the heavy hitters in the nerddom community. So you're going to have, carry Magic, you're going to carry D&D, you're going to carry board games, you're going to carry Warhammer, blah, blah, blah. But like, I want occasionally to be like, oh, this weird new third-party supplement book for D&D came out, or maybe it was on a Kickstarter for a while, and we actually backed 5 or 10 or the retail tier or whatever, and you can't just easily get it, right?
Yes.
There's something about exclusivity and things, something about like, oh yeah, we have a big contingent of Warhammer players. We picked up, we're going to bring in some Conquest starter boxes and see what people think, or whatever, and do a learn to play night or whatever. I want to be sometimes surprised, because I know that like I'm going to come back more often if I don't know it's going to exactly be there. If I close my eyes, I can think of what's in the store.
Okay. Okay.
So I want that element of surprise. If you hide
shots of fireball
in your game store, I'll be there every day till I find them all.
Are you a standing gamer or a sitting gamer? Because I am definitely a sitting gamer.
Like whenever you play at my local store, just Sigmar is always standing.
Yeah. I think that's normal. I think that makes the most sense too, because you're often moving around a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it also is like, it creates a different energy for a game. You know, if we're just like sitting down, chilling, playing a game of Warcry, sitting down, that's a different game than standing for 3 hours to play a game of Age of Sigmar. At a certain point, I almost have this like anxious energy or whatever. Like it affects my mind.
I had never thought about that.
Yeah, like it's a different. I don't know. It's something about. Plus, you're usually on fairly hard ground or whatever for a long period of time, so you kind of like you move. You want your your feet get sore as fuck just standing in one spot, and so like. Something about that energy, like that movement, my brain probably doesn't function well.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is I want my board game store, my local game store, to have tables to play at that are 6x4 in size to accommodate. That's big enough to accommodate every game that I could ever imagine wanting to play.
Yeah.
And also chairs to sit in. Because I will always pop one out. You can have them in a stack in the corner. I don't care. I'll go grab one and sit down because I love sitting and chilling and playing a miniature war game.
Yeah. I firmly believe that that a store that encourages people to spend time there will only lead to more success in your store.
Oh, like comfort and stuff like that.
Well, just like we know we show up on a Tuesday, there's going to be tables open. Maybe they're a cool table, something you don't have at home. Store, maybe it's like they have a bunch of different snacks or drinks, or maybe even some kind of you can buy a frozen pizza and they throw it in the frozen pizza oven or whatever. Like,
I honestly, there was a store we played a tournament at for Song of Ice and Fire that had frozen stuff at a microwave, so you could like eat like a Hot Pocket. And I was like, Hot Pocket. I'd never seen that before. I was like, if I was a fucking 16-year-old, I'd have been all over that.
Yes.
Cause that was like my fucking diet when I was like in college and high school. So I love that idea.
Yeah. Oh, because too, it's like you can actually make a decent profit margin and still sell that stuff pretty cheap. So like people feel like I spent it's $1 for a Hot Pocket or $1.50 or whatever. And when they sell their box of 2 Hot Pockets, the store still made $1.50. Like it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because everyone really appreciates it, and you make a little bit of money. So yeah,
this is all about making your first $1 million on Hot Pockets. It's all you need to know, baby. Get that Hot Pocket richness. Yeah, I think being able to have a nice play space is good. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, pretty much it. When John brought this topic up to me, I was like, I'm a picky bitch about like hobby stuff, so I'm gonna be pretty good at this. But then we kind of took it in a different direction. But like, if we want to take it more of like a hobby direction, like I need like a desk height that is, I don't know what the specific height is, but it needs to be the right height such that I can lean my hands on the edge and have a straight back and have my face like 3 inches away from the model.
And your feet flat on the floor, right?
Yep. Yeah. All those things. I don't know what height that is, but that's what needs to happen. And I need my chair to have arms, so I can put my elbows on the arms, lean on the table, and then my face is like right there. I don't got to fucking bend at all.
I think you need to sit at mine. Now, a big part of this is because each of us will vary in our size,
and
shapes, or whatever.
As well.
But having a high quality adjustable chair
that helps.
So you sit down and then you you go up just a little bit till it's right there. So your elbows are in that. You create that perfect V. You create the triangle of power.
Triangle of power.
Right there for you. The answer is 36 inches.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 36.
I watched your fucking
36-inch
video.
cabinet height. That's how tall they are.
Yeah, I watched your video with your little chair. You're like, oh, I can edit, and now I can paint.
Yeah. Somebody, Goblin Green. You know who Goblin Green is? The guy on Instagram that paints like super awesome, like retro Warhammer. He was on Midwinter Minis video once.
I think he might have sent me some stickers, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. He reached out to me on Instagram after that video, and he's like, dude, I have the same chair as you. You need the headrest. I was like, what? He's like, special add-on headrest? And he's like, sends me pictures of his headrest, and it looks fucking primo headrest, dude. It's like a cockpit headrest. I'm like, okay, damn it. I guess I know what I'm gonna ask for Christmas now, like a $300 headrest.
Oh, God, dude.
I don't know how much it costs, but if it's Herman Miller, it ain't gonna be cheap.
No, it ain't.
Dude, when I bought that chair, they send me, you get like the little like mail order magazines in the mail for like LL Bean and like the
you get Uline sends them
Uline, all those ones. Like they have one. Herman Miller has one. They send out like quarterly, and I feel like very few times in my life have I actually like felt like I've made it, like I'm a successful, well-to-do person. When that fucking thing hits the mail, they like, we know who you are, that you bought this expensive ass chair. We assume you have 3 Mercedes in the fucking garage. And that thing is like, I swear to God, the paper is made of like silk paper lined with
fucking
gold.
velvet.
And it's just like, oh, look at all these luxuries you could get from us.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and I flip through it and I recycle it.
It's like a pen that costs $300.
I can't afford any of your stuff, Herman Miller. Never trust a place with just 2 last names. Unless it was, because it's Pee Wee Herman. I assume Herman Miller, the Herman is Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I assume that.
Yeah, he went right from making that movie to just designing fucking luxury office chairs.
Like who's the Miller? What's that? Who's that comedian dude that did a late night show? Anyway, I'm not gonna remember it. We could just say Reggie Miller, formerly of the Indiana Pacers. Pee Wee Herman and Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. See, I know that person because I just finished watching the Michael Jordan Netflix documentary, and Reggie Miller plays a role in Michael Jordan's like history.
Yes, he does. Reggie Miller is a better shooter than Michael Jordan.
At one point, he was like the next big thing.
Yes,
Michael Jordan is an amazing fucking human being.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's incredible.
I think he's kind of a giant. Isn't he kind of like a giant douche? But I don't mean that in like. He's just so competitive about everything that he comes across as being.
That was this thing, yeah. He was like, if at any moment he felt like anyone doubted that he was the best person in the game, he was like, stop. And he would play better, and it would just crush anyone. So like he'd play a series, lose a game, and then come back and win the next 3. Because he was like, I need everyone to know for a fucking fact that I am the best. It's like when he went into a game and like there was like talk on the radio of like this particular player being like the possible next MVP.
Yeah.
He would play especially hard to prove that he was better than that person. And it's like anything set him off. And the thing is, he might have been an asshole to his teammates. He might have pushed them like an inappropriate amount, but goddamn, he had the skill to back it up.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fucking hell out of that.
Well, and I think it was more like the drive and passion, right? Because there are a lot of people that are as talented as Michael Jordan, but no one had like that inner thing where it was just like, and yes, there was like ripple effects off of that being who you are.
Yeah.
And that's how he was with everything too. It wasn't just basketball, but it was especially with basketball.
Yeah.
But, and that's how people were like, he was just kind of could be tough to be around if he was in that mindset. If they were like, this is why he had a gambling addiction too. He's like, I should win.
Yeah, he always wanted to win. He wanted to beat everyone all the time.
Yeah.
In everything. It was. I mean, that show was great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. I want to watch it.
Michael Jordan's my favorite person now in the world.
I mean, but you know what he didn't win at? He didn't win at making amazing chairs like Pee Wee Herman and Reggie Miller. That's what we're talking about in this week's podcast. Okay, so Dan's asking if we want campus canes. It's a good thing to talk about in the middle of the podcast.
Campus canes?
Campus canes. Is that where we meeting at for lunch?
Oh yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else do you need in your? What else do you need in your hobby space? I like.
I mean, I need a wet palette.
Okay.
That's close to the edge. I need a paper towel that's moistened in between the wet palette and the edge.
It's got to be folded in half one time.
I need a little bit of thickness. Though, like a single ply isn't enough.
No, not enough.
It needs to be a little bit damp.
Yep.
The wet palette needs to have sitting water in it.
Wait, you need your paper towel to be damp?
Yeah. Dry paper towel is miserable.
Really?
Yeah, because it just doesn't. A wet paper towel just takes the moisture out of my brush so much better than a dry one does.
Oh, but it doesn't just like suck it out.
Well, no, it does. I want it to do that.
Yeah.
The water sucks it out better.
The water sucks it out better, but it also doesn't dry out maybe like the tip of your brush.
Yes. It basically is like kind of like my mouth.
Fuck. Oh my God, I never thought about that.
This is why I love the way that I set up a wet palette where I clean off the palette of the water droplets with a paper towel.
And then you put it on the paper towel.
And then I take that towel, fold it in half, and put it in front of my palette, and now it's wet.
Bro, you guys don't even know what you're experiencing right now. This is such key information that I didn't know happened. I'm so excited to go home and paint right now. I'm going to try this for the first time.
I need a cup that's low in height because I don't want to fucking reach up and go down. I want to see the water level from where I'm fucking sitting and be able to get in there and not move around at all.
It needs to have some girth, though.
Yes.
Some girth.
Yes. You mean like a wider diameter?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay, some girth. We need some girth. And I don't want a high one. I use a high one all the time, but I fucking hate it.
Bro, you know what the key is? You need that Tostitos salsa jar, bro. That's girthy, not too tall, and it's clear glass.
Yeah. One of my ideas for my hobby desk at home, and I bought the things already, was to surface mount cups on my desk with lids so I can put lids on them when they're not being used. But this way, it's just fucking right there. I can just fucking slide in. I'm just fucking.
You know, all this it sounds good until
it's unproven.
Until anything gets fucking knocked in there.
I got the lids, bro. I got the lids.
You don't have the lids on in the midst of painting.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see if there's any travesties.
I mean, all I know is all it would take was one time of accidentally, all it would take was a paint bottle that like didn't have a lid on. I accidentally dump it in there, and that thing like goes head down like bloop, 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 bloop. Yes, the water down there is now a little bit, yellow, but that thing is now the whole balance of that bottle of paint with being sunk in water is in question.
Hold on. If you knock over a paint pot, the paint that comes out of it's fucking useless.
I'm talking about that water that gets seeped up into the paint through the nipple. Maybe there'll be some kind of a...
What? Yeah, they could have fucking happen. What are you talking about?
I feel like you ruined it for sure.
We'll see. We'll fucking see.
We're going to test this at VinciCon late one night after I'm done Easter egg hunting for Fireball.
Yeah. Oh, man. I need a air compressor with a pressure valve that I can see from my seating area. I don't want to reach it down. I want to look for anything. I want to be in front of my goddamn face. That's about it. Those are all my needs. Oh, I need 2 light sources, not one. I need 2 left and right side of my face.
Yeah. I mean, or like if there's a giant band of light that counts,
that works too. Yeah.
Multiple angles.
Absolutely, that works too.
I mostly find because that big one that I use, those IntelliTech ones, they're like wide enough.
That's the same thing effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. Just not like the one little. Yeah, one little light. You're right.
I need a pee so fucking bad.
Dude, why don't you go? I'll talk about the things I need.
The pee is building up in my eyeballs, okay?
I'm going to say the things that I need for my painting station, and then we're going to have finished up this topic.
Okay.
God, that Oreo cakester was shit. Oh, man. However much an Oreo cakester costs, it's too much money. Do yourself a favor, because I assume they're in the same area of the store. You go down, you go to the right, you find the Little Debbie section. Buy yourself a Little Debbie Nutty Buddy, okay? Everyone needs a buddy, might as well be nutty. Get that Nutty Buddy, and you're going to thank me. Nutty Buddy, way better than Oreo Cakester. Okay, things that I must have as a rider for a painting station. Okay, so let's say I'm coming over to Scott's house or going to Vincey's house. So as I'll go to Vincey's house and I'm painting for like 3-4 days straight, what do I need there? Most of the things Scott said we actually don't get there. We have access to it into like Vince's whole painting cavern. So having access to a good airbrush station, and that kind of stuff. But to me, I actually can paint with a lot less, as long as one of 2 criteria are met. One, I'm painting with friends, or I'm painting with other people. That could be as part of a painting class, or as part of just hanging out and painting with friends. I've gone and painted in Sexy Teeth Joshy's basement, where the lighting is not great. He has improved it for this reason, to have group painting hangouts, where you just don't have access to all the things you need. You literally have a chair. It's not a bad chair at all. It has a table. The height's probably not perfect. Doesn't matter. If you're hanging out and painting with friends, I don't need much. I just make sure I have a paper towel. I have my wet palette. I got one good brush. I know that this brush, if I need it to do 90% or 100% of what it takes for me to paint a mini, I can do that. So I want one good sable hair brush. I also always want to have a 000 brush or at least a 0 brush. I want a small brush. I love painting with sable hair tiny brushes now, which is why painting a big thing like this Demon Prince was a little bit of a arduous task. But besides that, once enough of a selection of paints where I feel like I can get creative with the paints that I have with. So if I'm painting with friends or I'm painting at a class, the thing with like painting at a painting class, I don't need everything possible as long as it's clear what the teacher asked me that to bring. Because I'm only going to be there for 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever, or 6 hours. You know, I know it's a finite amount of time. And so my focus should not be on me being 100% in my comfort zone and how I usually paint. It should be about really absorbing, listening, trying to implement, asking for feedback, and maximizing my time there, and not worrying about the small details that would be like how I usually am at home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to make a major difference for me there. And my own painting setup at home, I think in a couple of videos I've talked about this. You can check those out on my channel to see why I have what I have. To me, a big thing is not hunching over. And so that's why I paint at a higher height. So I can still get you get the Holy Trinity. You get the Pyramid of Power. You get the Triforce. You know, that is it. That is elbows on the armrests, forearms on the counter lip, and then hands together with model. That is the Triforce.
Sure.
And so I was just gonna talk to you about the things you missed, but like they already heard it.
Don't do that.
They don't care anyway. So I talked about Nutty Buddies being far superior.
Oh,
to pastries,
Nutty Buddies,
dude, bro, you like some Nutty Buddies?
Yeah, peanut butter and chocolate is a fucking sacred matrimony.
Goddamn wafers in there too. Just
Dude,
bring
yeah,
it all together.
Crunch, dude.
Oh, Nutty Buddies. Okay, that's it. Those are our riders for what is necessary when we play at Fenway Park to 50,000 screaming Bruce Springsteen fans, when we attend a painting class, what we need in a game store, and then just general must-haves for just being a mini painter.
Yeah, shout out to JP Mager for the topic. We appreciate it.
Mager!
John, what's better than awesome, realistic terrain?
Oreos.
No. Well, yes. God damn it, John. Can you just do the bit, please?
Oh, no, Scott. I don't know what's better than amazing realistic terrain.
How about cheap realistic terrain?
Yeah, you're right. That is better.
And that's exactly what today's sponsor, Mantic Games, and their new Kickstarter, Terrain Crate 3, is all about.
Terrain Crate 3 consists of 2 separate crate options. One full of stunning jungle and fungal flora, and one crammed with sci-fi scatter and walls that not only look great, but stop those arguments about being whether or not you're inside a piece of terrain.
But how am I going to cheat my way to victory without claiming that I'm always in cover?
Well, you don't have to worry about cheating, Scott, because everyone that backs this Kickstarter is a winner.
Oh, okay. Much of the terrain included in these crates is modular and designed with a universal fitting, meaning you can set up the board just the way you want, and every game can be different.
And not just the buildings are composed of interchangeable pieces, but even the trees are comprised of 3 separate parts that can be mixed and matched however you like.
And all the terrain pieces have been thoroughly tested to be the most durable on the market. The Mantic team has not been able to break a piece yet.
You can also pick up gaming mats in a variety of sizes that match perfectly with this terrain that's in these 2 crates.
A big thank you to Mantic Games for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. If you want to check out their campaign, it's linked down in the show notes and description below. Now on to the news. Welcome to the news.
This is the news part of the show, and this is the new news song.
I'm going to not look at anything that James wrote,
Okay.
and just say, Fuck yes, Eric Swinson taking Best in Show at Monte Sansovino. Woo! I know this is not what MSS is about, but USA bringing home the fucking gold, baby!
America!
Fuck yeah! Anyways, I watched
Eric Swinson wins a motherfucking day, yeah.
I watched Roman's video about that MSS, and he asked a bunch of people, or whoever was interviewing someone asked a bunch of people what their favorite part about that event was. And every single person, one part of their answer was the community. People that were just, that were there and enjoying the time. And it just makes me want to go so badly and just experience that fucking just deep diving, miniature painting, crunchy culture, and that inviting, warm culture, and also be in fucking Italy and eat Italian food.
Yeah, I'm most looking forward to gaining 6 pounds in 4 days. How many people? Do you know how many people attend MSS?
I
think that's maybe a part of it because there's 50 guys there. I don't know.
I would think 200 to 400, somewhere in there, max.
But then there's also it's a split because it's all the historical people.
Yeah.
And then there's all what they call fantasy, which is all of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm completely wrong. If you've attended Monte Sansovino, and maybe even just this last one, let us know. Is there much intermingling? It feels like it's a fairly sizable gap there. And so then we're just talking about half the field roughly, which is kind of the mini painters as we look at it. How big is that group? It's probably still 500 people, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I have no idea.
I'm gonna be a little bit rip open a vein here a little bit on this. First of all, Eric, who's really, really nice guy and amazing miniature painter and a good painting teacher. I feel great for him. I also watched an interview of him that he painted that piece 2 weeks prior to Monty. He took off. He put everything else on hold, and he said he painted 14 hours a day for 2 straight
Okay.
weeks. And to get it done. And he's had that piece since it was sculpted, and he's had it on his shelf since 2020.
What is that? Is that 160 hours? 100 and some? That's still kind of impressive.
Yeah, it's still, yeah. But anyway, to rip open a vein here, my only hesitation with Monty, I feel totally like an outsider there. I don't feel like I'm part of the people that are, and not that they're bad people. The people I talked to, obviously, I saw, Uncle Ben was there. Farabi, obviously, Roman, Eric Swinson.
Yeah, Fabrizio Russo, a lot of people that you are familiar with, for sure.
Little Benny Hanna.
Yeah, dude.
So people that are good people. Not goody peepees, but good people. Although Benny Hanna, I think, is a goody peepee. He listens to the podcast. So I just feel like I'm not this it's the art and it's everything is in the soul. You do ad spots, you're gonna die. Fucking hell, Satan. Blah blah blah. I don't know. I feel like I'm not that there is
a little too serious.
It's I feel like there is some some angst against people that do this in what we do versus people that are I am an artist. I do box arts. I do this, that, the other. This is all about the whatever. And I don't want that to be the case, but sometimes I feel insecure. They're there's look at you as paint a little thing on the video. Oh, you made a little video. Oh, okay. I'm not saying that they talk like Luigi, but I mean, just anybody there, wherever they're from. Anyway, that's just how I feel. And it makes me nervous. I want to go. But they're going to be oh, you just go over, sit over there. Little boy, sit over there.
Honestly, yeah. No, I feel you. I've always wanted to belong to that group of people who are display painters and shit like that. And I never, since I chose YouTube as a pursuit,
yes,
I've never felt like I belonged there. But I was watching that video that Roman made, and there was a guy who had a southern accent, so he's from America, and I've seen him at Adepticon a million times. I don't know his name. And And he was like, "What do you like about Monty?" And he was like, "I love the community. When I first got here, I was concerned about the skill gap, and I was scared that I wouldn't feel like I belonged. But there was an opening ceremony, and they just totally like dissolved all my fears and made me feel like I was part of like the group." And I was like, "That is
Cool.
so fucking awesome."
That is awesome.
And the other thing was, I went to Adepticon for that. We missed it for we missed it for 2 years.
2 years.
And when we went for that first time after that COVID break, I remember I wrote in my little, everyone knows, just like a little roundup, right, about a con after they go to it. And in my little roundup, I wrote, man, like spending time with humans just reminds you that, I don't know, like all the negative thoughts you have about them are often just not true. So like your insecurity about like them thinking that, you know, you don't belong, you don't fit in, maybe if we went and like experienced time with them, that would just kind of melt away. Because I feel like when we sit in isolation, we tend to just become worse versions of ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, and to clarify, thank you for saying that too. When I said that, I didn't feel like anyone particular is making me feel like I don't belong.
Yeah.
I have put that on myself.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
And that of hearing nothing but good things. And also many of those painters we see at Adepticon and stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're people that are just, you know, anything.
But yeah, I totally get that. Not feeling like I belong there either, because I'm not like 100% focused on miniature painting as an art form, but I'm also focused on these other things, and there's like a business element to it and all this stuff. But I mean, if you think about it, like for Robbie, who owns and operates Chimera, you know, he kind of turned his hobby into like a business thing too, and is trying to make his way through it, make money and stuff. And he runs MSS. That's kind of a business thing as well. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to Eric Swinson. Congratulations. Fucking awesome.
And everybody that went.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, some of the pictures I've seen, it's just phenomenal. Some beautiful, beautiful work. It's very inspiring. I would like to just think how cool it is just to walk through and see all
the setup is so fucking wonderful. It's this tiered setup. There's no glass. Lights across all the things, so you can get real close to all the entries. Real cool.
Yes.
It's real cool. All right.
We have other news. We're going to kind of just go through it. Stuff quickly. Vallejo did announce like official, I don't know if they have an official release date, but it probably is out there. I'm sorry if I don't have this, that the new game color range and then their Express color, which first of all, Express is like a teenage girl's clothing store in the mall. So that's funny. So that at least it was, I don't know if that store is still around.
They are.
Express. So whenever you hear Vallejo Express colors, just assume that it's teenage girl clothing. It's a way funnier product that way. Yeah, Express is their contrast paint. Game Colors apparently is basically new branding. And it says here in the notes, and it has a reduced environmental impact and now includes base, shadow, and light color groupings.
There's a box as you walked into the office to the right that's got a bunch of Vallejo tape on it. I think it has all of these colors in it. I haven't opened it yet.
Must be nice.
I mean, you get a bunch of free shit from fucking GW, bro.
Oh, I mean, it's not paint.
Yeah, you fucking love paint. Yeah. All right. This is a cool one, actually. If you are a game designer, Wyrd, the company responsible for Malifaux, Through the Breach, they're looking for game designers.
Cool.
So if you got a resume, you have an interest, I will have the link to their application down below.
Another one, it is the holiday season. That means that GW was this big pitch for their holiday battle boxes. And then I watched a couple videos on Honest Wargamer and on Warhammer Weekly, and kind of breaking down like the contents and the value and how useful they'd be in the like in the meta right now. Like, are they good? Are there actually good units in here? And like shit ones, and are they useful in a bunch of different lists? And so
that's a good. Those are valuable metrics.
Yeah, so it's really fun. So you can check out which would be a couple weeks ago, the Warhammer Weekly, where they did the Ogre Battle Tomb review. They talked about this then. Is great. And then I think on YouTube you can check Honest Wargamer. I believe it's in the title of that one. Just kind of go back a little bit through his recent videos, and you'll find that if you wanted to see if this is something that's good, a good value for you. Some of them are, some of them aren't. So
yeah, okay. Catalyst Games Labs, who's responsible for BattleTech, announced that they'll launch a new BattleTech in March 23rd Adepticon. It's called Mercenaries, and it's going to launch on Kickstarter. That all seems like good news, but our writer's got some choice words to share with them.
All right, let's hear what writer Goblin James has to say.
I enjoy BattleTech as much as the next schmuck, but what? Announcing a Kickstarter 5 months ahead of time counts as an update? Piss off. And what's this Adepticon announcement gimmick? Is that what makes this a big deal? It made me so angry and confused that I had to rant about it somewhere. So what he's saying is like, you already have to wait so fucking long for a Kickstarter to run its course and then fulfill. And now we are announcing it 5 months ahead of time, and you're making it seem special because it's launching virtually at an event.
At a physical event.
I know, right? It's like our game launch. It's like, oh, sick. Can I buy it? Like, you can go back in on Kickstarter. That feels a little lame. I understand the criticism a lot.
I'm guessing, and here's the side of it that I get, would be if they had demos of that game and you can look at it, you can play demos and stuff at Adepticon, and then you're like, this was really cool. I guess if it's not out yet, the next best thing is Kickstarter's live right now. You could go pre-order it. So I kind of get that value, but in the grand scheme of things, hitting a couple thousand people at the event, or maybe you get a lot of hype from it and people taking pictures and stuff, it's probably worth it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it if you're gonna launch it around that time anyway. What the hey.
Yeah, but we'll see this game after this 5 month pre-announcement in 2 years. So yeah, I feel bad.
I don't know if there's anything else here that jumps out across at me. Those aren't words that go together. There's a new Cadia. So the Imperial Guard box is like they're for the first time in like forever. They're actually coming out with new Imperial Guard models.
Yes,
good old human boys.
I
really like the look of just the standard troops. They're all updated. They look like realistic action-y poses, some badass stuff. But some of the other like traditional Cadian troops, like their big dumbass AT walkers, just look silly as fuck to me. Yeah. It looks like a porta potty with legs on. But that's cool. Maybe they'll come out with more cool stuff, more cool updated. I bet their updated tanks are going to be sweet though, because they had some cool old tanks.
Yeah.
So
on a more indie note, Moonstone got some new models, and I'm looking at Eric the Enlightened right now on his big ass antler. He's got some big wood elf energy, which I am always here for those guys. Dude, Arondir from fucking Rings of Power, that guy's fucking badass.
Yeah.
I like that guy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one is he?
He's the elf that like has a relationship with Bronwyn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it's a lot of people with the name starts with A.
Yes. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you were like,
I'm just thinking of elven characters. Which one you think is badass? So then I was like, yeah, it has to be him.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember his name.
The rest are kind of fucking stupid.
They all their names kind of sound like Arionar.
Yeah. Also,
like,
hold on, a question. Wait, I can't spoil anything. Never mind. Anyways, I think that's all for the news. Welcome to the end of the podcast.
This is the end of the podcast where we end the podcast.
Normally I scream.
Yeah, you did not see that coming.
I cannot scream right now.
You're so full of cakesters. You got no scream in you.
Dude, the cakesters are clogging me up, dude.
Oh, yeah. You're going to shoot out like a torpedo one of these minutes.
Next time you come back, John's going to be a cakester engineer, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to know how they're built inside and out.
Dude, built cakester tough.
Yeah. They're like crappy macaroons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
that's what they are.
Yeah. So Scott, the holiday season is upon us. And if I was somebody that wanted to support the podcast and give us a Christmas present, I would probably do that on Patreon, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Buy little Jimmy a patronage to our podcast.
Right, your nephew just gets a card that says, congratulations.
You're a goody pee-pee. Little Jimmy's like, what's that, mommy?
You get access to the after party.
It was like a week-old tendy wrapped up in there. It's like all greasy and shit. Yeah. Anyways, if you want to support our podcast because you enjoy listening to us talk at you relentlessly, there are many ways to do it, both free and not free. Some free ways are you can watch our videos whitelisted and with some various browser add-ons. We run an ad every 30 minutes. You can tell your nerd friends about our podcast. You can give us a rating on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify. You can also give us your dollars if you have access or you want to support the podcast so you can see more of this ridiculous content. by becoming a patron. We do extended episodes for our patrons where we talk about new models that we have like experimented on and learned things on. Models other people have painted that we enjoy, and we also give feedback to one of our patrons. So as a patron, you can submit models for feedback, and you can also submit topics like JG Mager did today for this episode. So yeah, you can also buy our merch. We got some awesome hoodies, sweaters, t-shirts, leggings with I think 3 designs now. We have the Tendy meat and potato one. We have the Tendy Destroyer, 2 fucking Tendy ones. We have the Tendy Destroyer one, and they have the classic logo on various pieces of clothing.
You want them yoga pants?
Yeah, dude.
You get them. Do you want them Tendy yoga pants?
Yeah, dude. Do a little hot yoga with your Tendy Destroyer pants.
Yeah, if your significant other is the type that does yoga or works out and they wear the yoga pants, what better holiday gift for them?
Yeah.
Than some top yoga pants, and they'll be like, "What is this?" And they're like, "You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, you'll like it. You're also a goody pee-pee."
We appreciate all y'all. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving, you're in the United States of America, have a great turkey day. It's probably behind you right now, but I hope you had a great turkey day. I hope you ate until you sweat. And later on, there's going to be Boxing Day. There's going to be Hanukkah. There's going to be Christmas. There's going to be Kwanzaa. We are at the true holiday season, as we know in Minnesota, because it's now fucking snowing everywhere. That means it's a holiday season. So y'all take care of yourselves. Watch out for deer. And we'll catch you on the
Flippity flop.